Hi, everyone. Welcome to the SoxProspects.com podcast. We are the web's #1 source for information on the Boston Red Sox farm system from top to bottom, from Fort Myers to Pawtucket and all stops in between. Thank you for the download. My name is Chris Hatfield. I am the executive editor of Sox Prospects, and I'm joined late this evening by our director of scouting, Ian Kundle. Ian, it's close to midnight. We're close to the witching hour, but we've got two new prospects to talk about. Yay!
It's like Christmas all over again.
It's Christmas in June. It's the MLB draft. Tonight was night one of the 3-day, I was going to say 3-day spectacular, but that's definitely...
3-day grind?
That's probably a better term. The Red Sox had two picks tonight. They drafted at number 26 overall in the first round and at number 64 overall in the second round. Two high school bats in, both power guys. At 26, the Red Sox took corner infielder Tristan Casas from American Heritage High School in Florida. If the high school sounds familiar, also the alma mater of current Red Sox minor leaguer C.J. Chatham, former Red Sox minor leaguer Devin Marrero, Eric Hosmer, Maglio Ordonez. Who are some other names we threw out there, Ian?
Sean Anderson, right, former Red Sox, and ironically, you're more up on your football than I am, but the Patriots' first round pick this year out of Georgia, Sony Michel, yes,
also went there. So
I believe it's an athletics powerhouse.
Yeah, I mean, clearly, I think you could say that.
I would say so.
Yeah. So he was the Red Sox pick at 26, and in the second round, the Red Sox drafted outfielder Nick Decker from Seneca High School in New Jersey. Center fielder who may or may not stay or may move to right field. Ian, I mean, pretty obvious trend with these two picks.
Yeah, it's almost like they listen to the show and hear us talk about what the system doesn't have. But in all seriousness, I like it. It's not what I expected, but it's kind of what I was hoping they would do. And, you know, we've talked about in the past that the guys they kind of take early, it tends to be either the more safe college guys or, you know, the hit or defensively minded position player prospects. You know, they don't really go for these power over hit guys. I mean, the last one of late that they did it, you'd have to go back to Chavis in 2014. And before that, you have to go back a ways. I was actually looking earlier for the last time they took a first guy who probably will be a first baseman in the top 3 rounds. And other than Sam Travis in 2014, I went back to 2000 and there was no one.
Yeah.
So,
not very first round.
No.
I mean, it depends what you want to say with Vidic in 2010.
He's probably a first baseman, but yeah. It's just, these aren't Red Sox picks.
No, they're just not.
But that's good because, as you know, I got pretty fired up about this during spring training, and they kind of did exactly what I was hoping they would do.
Yeah, it's kind of incredible. I guess we can go really quick on Casas and Decker individually. Casas, as we mentioned, he played third base at American Heritage. I watched some video of him playing third tonight, Ian. Don't see it.
Yeah, it didn't look great. I mean, everything I've read tonight points to eventually having moved to first base.
Yeah, he's a big boy, 6'4", 240. That's as an 18-year-old. That's a large mammal. But it's kind of funny on he was on the Facebook Live feed that MLB was doing. And Scott Braun from MLB Network was asking him questions. One of the ones he asked him was, "What's the first thing you're going to buy?" These were questions I think from people on the Facebook Live feed. And he said, "I'm going to start buying first class tickets because when I fly coach, I leave the plane and the seat in front of me is imprinted into my knees." Which,
you know that feeling, right?
I do know that feeling. You
I
do
know
too.
It too.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. But I'm also not 240 pounds. I can usually kind of like wiggle myself into the seat. But yeah, just below average runner. Definitely, you know, it's a corner infield body. Apparently gets to low 90s on the mound.
Yeah, I saw
So
that.
the arm is there. I mean, when you see him playing third, the arm is definitely there, but it's not a quick release.
It's just a big boy. Like, you don't see a lot of. I mentioned it on Twitter, I think, but another third baseman who's 6'4", 240 pounds already. There aren't many, I would have to imagine. I mean, you got a few like kind of unicorns, guys like Chris Bryant, who's I think 6'5", but he's 215 and ripped.
Right.
So, I mean, if Costas can stay at third base long term, that would obviously be ideal because that would increase his value greatly, especially if he hits like he's projected to. Mm-hmm. But even if he moves to first base, he's got the kind of bat that should be able to sustain that move if he reaches his potential. And,
ideally, right.
Yeah, and I'm okay with that. If he can rake, we'll figure out the defense later.
Yeah, and he was a guy that was getting mocked to earlier picks. So if you're the Red Sox,
I saw him as high as 13.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. Yeah, and so you're happy he fell if you're the Red Sox. It looked like they did have a deal with him because Kylie McDaniel of Fangraphs had the selection like 3 picks before the Red Sox were up.
Yeah, and hat tip to friend of the site, Red Sox Stats, who mentioned a couple days ago that he was in Fenway for a visit. So
right, and that was apparently the first time he'd been to Boston. He said on the conference call.
So it looks like this came together kind of late, but
yeah. I mean, him being to Boston late doesn't necessarily mean much. I'm sure they saw him. He was at the National High School Invitational.
Oh,
he made an impression there.
But he wasn't really linked in any mock drafts until the last couple.
Yeah, but that's kind of like we were talking about on the episode of the podcast that was released earlier Monday, that when you pick that late, there's just... You don't know who's going to be there. I mean, look how what was the high school kid that went to the Rays, the lefty
Matthew Liberatore.
Yeah, I mean, he was supposed to go top 5.
Yeah, that hat he was wearing, by the way, was fire. I don't know if you saw
it was.
It's the best Rays hat ever.
Yes, yeah. But him, and then who was the guy that went after him to Kansas City? Singer, Brady Singer, who was supposed to go top 5.
Yeah,
so,
I mean. It was just interesting to me that the Red Sox, they took, like, the offensively minded thing is what stands out to me. Because there were some good arms on the board. Guys like Mason Denberg had fallen. He was kind of projected higher, but he had some injury risk, which is, I wonder why, if he was kind of, they were avoiding him. Because they weren't really linked to high school pitchers anyway. But there were a couple of college pitchers there that in the past maybe they would have seen them go after. But it looks like this time they're kind of swinging for the fences, no pun intended.
Yeah,
and
I mean,
they went for the combination they went for the combination of upside, like, at the plate, and that's kind of what we've been crying out for. I mean, the system doesn't have impact bats. You can try to call Michael Chavis an impact bat, but for me, I don't think he is long term. I think he's a good player. I think he's going to be a solid big leaguer, but he's not like a role 6 player. And they don't have anyone any offensive players I would project. They don't have anyone I would project at this point.
Right. Although on the next episode of the podcast, I think we need to talk about Bobby Dahlbeck. I don't know if you saw my tweet.
Oh yeah. I mean, I think the Bobby Dahlbeck defender within the rankings group, I'm all in on. I love Bobby Dahlbeck. Yeah. So
if he does what he's done the last 10 games for the rest of the season, he might.
That's the number one prospect in the system.
That probably would be the number one prospect in the system. Yeah. Anyway, go ahead.
I was just going to say, for those interested, the rankings for Costas, he was 20 on MLB's rankings, 25 on BA, and 31 on Perfect Game. Just thought I'd add that in.
Beautimus. And actually, he's committed to the University of Miami, but he on the conference call apparently but
he sounded very signable.
Yeah, he basically said, "Look, I'm going to have a hard time saying no to the Red Sox," which I guess is what you want to hear if you're the Red Sox or a Red Sox fan.
I mean, if you're taking a guy in the top 10 rounds, the odds are they're going to sign.
Yeah. Well, yeah. I mean, true. Slot for that pick is $2,552,800, and he's committed. I think I probably said this already, to the University of Miami.
I bet he gets close to that, if maybe even a tick above it, because he was mocked as high as 13.
Yeah,
so.
He won't get under slot. He might get a little bit above it.
I would say probably $3 million max, but
because remember you're really working with slot plus 5%, which 255 to 800 times 1.05 is. 2,680,000.
Say 2,675. But I would guess he gets somewhere around the 2.5, 2.6 range in there.
Sounds right.
So, yeah.
Decker, high school outfielder out of New Jersey. He's going to be Mike Trout.
I love the first line of, I think it was MLB.com's report was like, while not as tooled up as, the last high school outfielder from New Jersey to make a big draft splash was, of course, Mike Trout. I was like, geez, trying to put some pressure on the kid.
Yeah, the last big outfielder from New Jersey to make a draft splash is the best player to ever play the game, short of Barry Bonds.
Unlucky.
Okay.
Good luck, kid.
Yeah. Decker, go ahead.
Same thing. He doesn't look as, it's not the prototypical, like, Costas is listed at 6'4", 240. That's like a prototypical power frame. Decker's a little more kind of a short, stockier. He's 6 foot, 200 pounds. They list him at. Watching some video, he looks pretty maxed out physically. But same thing. It's the uppercut swing. He's got raw power, and we'll see if he can hit. But the raw power is legit, and if you can make enough contact in this day and age, you don't have to hit like 300 to be a valuable player. You can hit 250 and be a valuable player. So I think, again, this is an upside play. And if he hits, you're looking at your prototypical offensive-minded outfielder. You're muted.
That I am. It's late, people. The thing with Decker is it's not like he's an all-power, no-hit guy. All the reports say that he's got an advanced plate approach, willing to take a pitch. Same thing with Casas, actually.
That's what I was about to say. It looks like they're not just taking sluggers. They're taking guys who know what they're doing at the plate, and maybe the hit tool might lag behind a little bit. But if you have a good approach and you have power, I'll take a chance that you'll be able to make enough contact to tap into that. And worst case, you can be a high OBP guy still.
Right, exactly. And then, it's not like you're going to go up there and be Willie Mo Pena.
But Willie Mo Pena hit some awesome home runs in BP.
He did.
Did you tweet out Decker's stats? Was that
not me? Nope.
Someone did, and they were hilarious. It was like being a high schooler in the Northeast must suck, because I think he had
he had 492 this year. Looking at his player page on SoxProspects.com, and in 59 at bats, which.
Yeah, because he had 34 walks.
Let's start with his 59 at bats in his high school season with 34 walks.
Yeah, it's absurd. If you're good
and hit 492.
Yeah, if you're a good Northeast high school player, you don't get pitched to.
He hit 492 and still had more walks than hits.
Yeah.
Oh dear.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, his stats are hilarious. It's just
seven bombs in 59 at bats.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
I mean. I'm again very interesting, and we've talked about the lack of outfielders as much as we have the lack of power in the system. I mean, is he the number one outfield prospect in the system now? I think he is, right?
He's gotta be.
He definitely is. I'm looking at it now. Absolutely is.
I mean, do you count Sam Travis as an outfielder? Is the only way it's a question.
Yeah,
and even still, I'd probably take Decker, because I would take Decker over Brannon right now easily.
Oh, for sure. So it's going to be
Casas and Decker both go to GCL probably.
Unfortunately, that's the one downside of tonight is Lowell didn't get any help. But I assume tomorrow we'll start seeing some guys who will be
pretty early. Would be my guess.
I bet they go college pitching.
Well, that's like we said. The arms are there in round 3 or 4.
Well, you're seeing it even with the draft tonight. You saw college pitching fell.
Yeah.
Other than the elite guys, for the most part, guys like Singer fell. The lefty from USF, from South Florida fell to the second
to the Rays. McClanahan or something.
Yeah, he was getting like top 5 buzz earlier in the year, and I guess he had a terrible second half. But
Rays killed it tonight. Lauren will be happy.
I mean, when you have 4 picks, that's what you got to do.
True.
But it's just I like what they've done. These are the kind of guys that we talked about a little bit on the preview, but it's worth mentioning again. These are the kind of guys that you don't really find those guys in the 3rd to 10 rounds. You can find pitching in that round, and you can find pitchers for a couple $100K who, are under the radar. You tweak something here, something there, and boom, guys like Shane Bieber was, I think, the one we mentioned on the last podcast, or like a Corbin Burns with the Brewers type. You don't really hear of outfielders or power hitting for the first corner infielders that get drafted late that turn into, that have that kind of upside. I mean, obviously there are exceptions, guys like Travis Shaw kind of come out of nowhere, but for the most part, you're not going to find this type of upside guys later. So I like what they've done, locking those up. And then, as I said, I expect them to go pretty heavy on the college guys tomorrow, especially pitching wise.
Yeah, I mean that's been their MO. You look at last year, rounds 3 through 6 were college. No, I guess Scherf.
Well, Scherf was weird though because he got.
Well, they
pushed
usually do try and get at least one high up, high upside. You've got Scherf last year. They didn't really go with that the year before, but that was because it got
Schwarren.
Well, but yeah, I mean he got way over slot.
I guess it was just money wise, but
I mean the whole draft got weird when Groom fell to them.
Yeah, true.
Because they had to basically make sure they could sign him. But after that, I mean, I guess 2015
they took Logan Allen in the 8th round.
Yeah, oh, there it is. Okay, Allen, yep.
So they've taken one guy. I would expect one of the first 2 picks tomorrow to be a senior or like someone they signed for under slot, and then someone in that later, that 5 to 8
not a senior sign.
No, not a senior sign, but someone who will take
like Netzer last year saved them what, $55,000.
Yeah. Exactly, and so did Jake Thompson. I think he saved
Thompson signed for underslot. Yeah, he went for like a little under $50,000 underslot.
Yeah, but I expect I could see a few of those guys, maybe 1 or 2 in the 3 to 5 range, in order to take someone who they give $5 to $700K in the 6 to 8 range, and then obviously a couple senior signs at 9 and 10.
Right.
So
we didn't mention Decker is committed to Maryland.
Oh, yeah. Terp up. Big Ten proud.
MLB ranking 75th, BA ranking 110, which was kind of interesting. They seemed a lot more down on him than every other site was.
Yeah.
PG had him at 53.
Yeah, because both Fangraphs and the ESPN big boards had him higher than that, too. They had him in like the
Law had him at 30. Law had Casas at 34 and had Decker at 59.
And Fangraphs has Decker at 51 and Casas at 33. So
nice.
Cool.
Yeah, I think a nice first night overall for the Red Sox.
Exactly. I mean, and as we talked about, I mentioned it. Hopefully this is kind of like the turning of the corner. Mm-hmm. The DSL season has started. Danny Diaz is already homered. They just drafted 2 offensive-minded high schoolers with upside and tools. I mean, it's looking maybe stock up Red Sox system right now.
Love it. Our next episode, I'm telling you this live for the first time, Ian. I'm booked through the end of this weekend out of town pretty much, so we'll probably try and record sometime next week-ish.
The post-draft episode.
Post-draft, and we'll have some Sox stuff to talk about. Hopefully Bobby Dahlbeck continues to not strike out and makes it not a small sample size thing. I'm really excited. If Dahlbeck keeps not striking out through the end of July, he might be my number 1 at that point.
That's aggressive, but you never know.
In this system.
Exactly.
Anyway, all right. Thank you everyone for listening. Thanks to Podcast Joe. Thank you to everyone for downloading. You can follow me at SP Chris Hatfield. Make sure you are following the website at Sox Prospects. Follow Ian at Ian Cundall. That's IANCUNDALL. Follow news.soxprospects.com all day Tuesday. We are going to have posts on every pick, some nice wrap-up posts, all kinds of stuff starting to go up tonight, and we'll be going up all through the draft. So keep it to the Twitter accounts and keep it to news.soxprospects.com. All right, people? Ian, anything else for our listeners?
I mean, I guess we'll get this question so quickly. Costas, where do you have him ranked right now?
I was hoping you weren't going to go there. I mean, he's easily top 5.
Yeah, I think he might be top 3.
I mean, it's tough because I would rank Mata Hauk differently today than I did when we ranked him.
I think I had Mata had a Hauk already, but yeah, I think he's.
No, I think
close.
we all had Hauk too.
Oh, did we?
Yeah,
that was an oversight on my part.
Yeah.
I think I will have him ahead of Groom. I'll just say ahead of Groom, somewhere in there.
Yeah, he's top 4.
Ahead of Groom, behind Chavis.
Yeah, and he's in there. He's in the tier with Hauk and Mata right now.
Yeah.
Of the kind of high end for 45s.
I agree. And then now. Decker, somewhere between 8, 14.
Decker, I mean, 12.
Yeah, I was going to say.
Well, I guess that would be 13 with Costas ahead of him.
Yeah,
he's definitely easily top 15. We'll go with that.
Exactly. All right. That should wrap it up.
All right. Cat's going crazy behind me. Thank you, everybody, for listening. Keep it to news.soxprospects.com, Twitter @SoxProspects. Peace. Costas Bonita.